And nobody said to me like, it's hard as shit, or it's gonna be really intense. Hey you beautiful humans, how are you guys? If you're watching my channel for the first time, my name is Brittany and I love to share about my life here, my self-growth, and the areas that are inspiring me, areas that I found useful that I want to share with all of you in hopes that they inspire you too. And a couple of days ago, I got back from a super profound experience. I went to a 10-day Vipassana meditation retreat. You may or may not be familiar with them. They exist all around the world, something like 100 Vipassana meditation centers, and I chose one in Thailand that was, I'm gonna butcher the name, but it's called like Phitsanulok, and it was like a 6 to 8 hour train ride south of Chiang Mai, so it's between Chiang Mai and Bangkok, the center. And from what I hear from other people who have done a lot of the Vipassana meditations, they say that that particular center is the best one that they've been to. So I'm kind of going on a tangent there, but I want to intro this and say that this experience, this Vipassana meditation, has been so profound during it, and more so actually after, since I got back, and I'm sure it's going to continue to integrate and feel really purposeful, meaningful. And I've been thinking, okay, I'll sit down and make a video about it at some point. I don't know when it'll happen, and today just felt like, I want to do that video. So here I am. So I want to tell you about the retreat in general, what it's like in case if it's something that you're considering doing, and then my experience as well there and since then. So as I was saying, these meditations exist all around the world, which is really amazing, and they're all donation based. So you don't have to commit a certain amount of money to go. At the end, you can donate whatever you desire if you desire to make a donation. And they say that they're 10 days, but actually they're a little longer. You arrive around 3 to 5 p.m. on day 0, and then day 1 starts the next day, and then you actually leave on day 11. So you have 10 full days and these 2 partial days. So I had that plus the travel to get there and back, which was, you know, like 10 hours in total on both ends. So it was really like a 12-day experience for me. And I went with Conor McMillen, who's an awesome human being and was a great traveling companion. Although we didn't necessarily do the retreat together, because how it works is it's separated by males and females. And then within that, there's what they refer to as noble silence. So complete silence. You're not speaking with anybody, you're not making eye contact or gestures. So the idea is to be as isolated as possible within this sea of other meditators who are doing the same thing. And this was my first time. There's like new students and repeat students, and some small guidelines are a little different for each, but basically everybody follows the main guidelines, which are this noble silence, and then to adhere to this timetable, which I'll put up so you can check it out. And it includes 11 hours, about 11 hours of meditation every day, some rest periods, some eating periods, and everybody gets their own space to live in. Had this little cell of a room, which I actually grabbed a snapshot of just as I was leaving. And in addition to noble silence, you agree to a few other things, like not bringing in any writing material or reading material. The idea, or electronics, anything like that, the idea is really that you're just going to be meditating and resting and being with yourself, being with with yourself for these 10 plus days. I decided about a year ago that I wanted to do this. I had some friends that went to this same center and loved it, and I thought next year I'll come back, because I come back to Thailand each year to run this festival in January, and wanted to come a month early so that I could do this meditation, and Conor really wanted to. So for about a year, I've been looking forward to this and also dreading it a little bit. And before that, for years, I had heard about Vipassana from people and felt like it was something I really needed to do because it was something that scared the shit out of me. And when I find things that are equal parts fear and excitement, I know that's something I have to do. If I ever identify something that the only reason I'm not doing it is because I'm afraid, it's like all the more reason for me to do it. I love finding those things because they end up being the most growth promoting experiences for me. And everybody I talked to about Vipassana said, it's amazing, do it. You know, it's like the best experience. And nobody said to me like, it's hard as shit, or it's gonna be really intense, which is fine because I figured those things anyway. But I want to tell you that it was, for me, really hard and really intense. And now that I'm back integrating into life, I've had like 3 days back, it is amazing how I'm feeling the effects of it in my everyday life. When I was there, it was challenging for a few different reasons. I really loved being silent. That part was awesome. That was great. Having my own space, going within, I really loved all of that. There were a lot of comforting things about the center. It was located in a beautiful space. I could see the mountains. There were these cute little lizards that make this sound that I thought were birds for a while. The center is connected by paths that are outside, which is really a perk of doing something like this in Thailand or another warm place. I really enjoyed the setting. The meals were challenging for me given my preference in eating. I was able to get fruit at certain meals and not at others. And then like I wanted to have greens when I wasn't having fruit, and they tended to serve greens at breakfast, and it was just really hard for me to get behind waking up and eating like greens and tomatoes along with my watermelons. So there were some things there, and I ended up having some cooked veggies, and I had some tofu on a couple of occasions, which I don't think agreed with me. Then some more nuts and seeds, and I'm trying to think of anything else out of the norm for me. There were just things, and the eating times were very different for me. It's like 6:30 a.m., 11 a.m., and then you don't really eat for the rest of the day. There's a little snack at 5, which was basically like some fruit, herbal tea, and then they have this snack table that's always out, but it was just food that I would never really eat. It is all vegetarian and mostly no dairy products either, but they did have like leche condensada, sweetened condensed milk, and Nutella and white bread and like cookies and all this crazy stuff. So anyway, the food was a little challenging for me, which I think was good to feel like that wasn't the point of being there, but also like I got some acne from it and a lot of digestive stuff, so that was interesting. The sitting for that many hours a day was challenging in the beginning, specifically like physically for my body. And then I felt like I sort of reached a point where I strengthened in a way. Maybe by day 3 I had this like sensation release in my back and neck, and it felt amazing. And I actually feel like I built strength in my body, which was really cool because I'm so used to doing physical activities like acrobatics and my handstand practice and stretching and walking and running, and just like a lot more movement than I was doing there. So that was really challenging to not be moving. They just have one little exercise walkway, and I did minimal yoga and body weight stuff in my room, but they really don't, they ask you not to, and it was really hard given the size of my room. So it was cool to have this like perk of feeling like I could be strong in my seated posture and gain that benefit even though I couldn't move in all these other ways. Mentally, man, it was really interesting. It's different for everybody. It was cool on the last day, you break noble silence and you get to talk with people and hear about their experiences. And it was cool to note what times of day were hard for people, what days throughout the 10 days were challenging for people, what they really enjoyed, what came up for them. And I think it's really personal for everybody, and I know from what I hear it's different for everybody each time they do it. For me, I had sadness come up, being in my own space, specifically after lunchtime, which is something I've been familiar with, this like certain time of the day. I also, I know there's so much in there that I want to say, and also know this video, don't want it to be too long. I also had, gosh, just so many different memories come up, or things that ended up being really significant that were in there that I wouldn't have known were significant if I weren't processing them in this really intentional way. The practice of Vipassana is really special because it allows you to observe feelings, sensations within your body without doing anything about them. So without shifting your posture or scratching if you have an itch, or just recognizing whatever comes up and moving through it, being with it, and practicing impermanence, just knowing that things are always changing. And I tend to be really cerebral sometimes. I do love to get into my body, but generally I've done a lot of journaling and stuff like that to process. And so to use this entirely different method, which is more feeling based, and it was heart based for me a lot. I felt things and I felt emotions, was this whole other realm of processing. By day 7, I felt like I was done. I feel like it took a few days for me to like hit my stride, then I felt really in it, and then by day 7 I felt done, and I really had to commit every moment. There were times in those next few days that I enjoyed. I generally enjoyed mornings, and I enjoyed the evening Dhamma talks for a while, and then started to get annoyed with elements of that. But yeah, and then like loved sleeping. But then, yeah, when I was done, I just felt, okay, I'm done, I'm ready to go, but I was still there. And I think that was a new level, a new layer for me to be processing too, because I'm so used to always being comfortable, to not creating any sort of, I've catered my life to being my dream life, just living each moment exactly how I want to. And so to commit to this thing where I was saying to somebody else, you have control of my schedule and what I'm gonna do, was a really big deal for me, and had a lot of resistance to it, and for good reason. Because I don't like people telling me what to do, because I'm the expert on me. But in this bigger way, I committed to this thing. And I'm so glad I did. And I also want to remember that during the process, I kept feeling like, this shit is so hard, and also this is amazing, and I want to make sure that I remember the full spectrum of it. And especially those last few days, I remember saying, I'm never going to do this again. Like, don't ever let me do this again, Brittany. This is terrible. And also, now that I'm back and have been feeling this integration the last few days, which has been a whole other wild experience, I realize how much it has positively impacted my life, and how much more space I feel like I have for anything that's happening or anything I'm feeling. I've been surprised that I want to sit in meditation every day. I felt like, no, I just like don't want to do that for a while, but I have been, and it's been really grounding and really helpful to continue this practice. I've really loved making it mine. They teach you a lot of specifics and offer what they think is best. And I really believe in taking what inspires you about what other people are doing and then making it your own. I feel like I'm doing that. It's been really interesting coming back and having so much business stuff to then attend to, and recognizing that I want to do things really differently. That I don't want to do more than what's serving me. I don't want to get lost in hours of time on the computer and go to bed feeling like I didn't get enough done, or I don't want to put so much in my schedule that I feel like I can't be really present for each thing, or that I feel like I'm just doing too much. And I feel like this is already something I've really been intentional about, but I feel a new level. And I have this wide open space to just add one thing in back at a time, or add a new thing in that feels important. And having a lot of spaciousness in my days feels super important. One area where I've really been looking forward to reconnecting is here with all of you. That was kind of one of the first things I wanted to do on this channel, and then on the channel that Conor and I have together. And acrobatics and moving my body has been so nice. And just enjoying the day, being a lot more present with each activity that I'm doing. And integrating, because they refer to this a few times during Vipassana as like this deep internal surgery that you're conducting on yourself. I really feel like that's what was happening, and that's what's still happening. I feel like I'm wide open in a way, and I want to continue that process of learning and healing and growing. It's really a trip. I feel like I've been going through a lot of different feelings, but remaining way more equanimous throughout it all on my own. I'm allowing this experience and welcoming it to be super profound, and that's what I'm getting from it. So, would I recommend Vipassana meditation retreat? This crazy, yeah, I feel like you know what's best for you. I feel like hopefully this has given you a little more insight into what it was like for me. I'm sure that there's more details I could give you. I'm sure that it's going to continue to unfold for me as my life unfolds in these next days and weeks and months and years. I really believe in embracing each experience that you choose to be life-changing for you. Because why the heck not? What else are we doing here but to live the way that we want to? I really believe in living the way that feels the most ideal for you. And if this is a type of growth that you want to have, an inspiring way that feels like could help you live a more authentic life, I totally recommend it. I also want you to know it's intense and hard as shit, and there are a lot of things that I didn't like about it when I was experiencing it, and I'm so grateful that I stuck with it and went through the whole thing and have all this to continue, all these like gifts that I keep receiving every day because of this work that I did, because of this time I put in. 100 hours of meditation. Okay, I'll leave it there. I'm really excited to be getting back into the swing of life. I have this epic sale on all my products and all the products Conor and I have together and all the products he has on our website here through the rest of the year. I really recommend checking it out. If you're looking to buy any of our things, our programs specifically, this is the best discount. Also, if you have any video requests, things you'd like to see in the future, please send them my way. Also, if you are in Thailand, hopefully I'll be seeing you next month in January for Fruit Winterfest. I love you guys so much. Thanks for having this space for me, and I know it's a longer video, so I hope it was helpful for all of you, or at least interesting. Love you so much. Mwah.